Hey, it's Janelle. Welcome to another vlog. So this one I'm calling Up Next. And basically I'm using this to see if I can find a 5-star read. Out of all the books I read each month, very few are 5 stars. So I thought, Chanel, what's something you could do to maybe get better at picking books that have that 5-star feeling for you? So what I have decided to try out, this is a trial, we're going to see how it goes, is I'm going to pick a former 5-star read that I've had, and I'm going to go on Goodreads, and I'm going to choose my next reads based on the readers have also enjoyed section, because I figure maybe that'll do something. So what I'm doing is I'm just picking a 5-star book that I've loved and one that I would like to read something similar to. So today I am choosing Open Throat by Henry Hoke, and this is a litfic about a mountain lion who lived in the Hollywood Hills. And I want something that maybe is a bit weird, has a bit of magical realism in it. So we're going to go through, and I'm going to just pick based on the picture. I'm not going to go into the book to read about the blurb. I have to make a decision just based on the options I have for the Up Next. And I'm going to do this 5 times so I can get my reading lineup for this vlog, and hopefully one of those will be a 5-star read. I apologize if I'm going to be looking down, but that's where I've got my iPad. Hopefully that's not annoying for you guys. Okay, so we're going down to the readers also enjoyed. All right, we've got Blackouts by Justin Torres. I don't know what that's about, but that's giving me dark based on the cover. I'm not looking for something dark. Auburn Conference by Tom Piazza. I have no idea what that is about. Cover's not grabbing me. Day's Work by Chris Bachelder. Interesting, but I want something, like I said, with a bit of something in there. Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. I have heard a lot about this, but once again, I'm not looking for anything that's a bit serious, a bit heavy. I want something lighter. Monstrilio, I have read, didn't really like it. That's a horror. Death Valley by Melissa Broder. I love Melissa Broder. Even though I don't love her, I've never given one of her books a 5-star, but I find her utterly enjoyable. She's gross, but funny and weird, and I like it. Death Valley was decent. In Tongues by Thomas Grattan. It sounds interesting, but because it's got a dog on the cover, I'm a bit worried about animal use in that particular book. Boys Weekend by Matty Lubchonsky. That's giving Las Vegas boys vibes. I'm not interested. Beautyland by Marie Helen Bertino. My library does not have that. I think that's about an alien masquerading as a human, I think. But I know I can't get that one. Headshot by Rita Bullwinkle. So this has been doing the rounds for all the people that do the Booker Prize, is it? Not really interested. I think it's boxing. Big Swiss by Jean Bagan. Yeah, that one had a lot of potential. I feel like it could have been better. Ended up being a medium read, but I still somewhat enjoyed it. The cover I love, like Jesus. Those are some tig old biddies, and I like. All Fours by Miranda July. I didn't like that one. Chlorine by Jade Song. I DNF'd that one. That just didn't get as weird as I wanted it to, and I didn't like the main character, and it didn't hit for me. Chain Gang All Stars by Nana Kwame Ajay Brenya. I'm not really interested. Once again, it's just, I feel like it's a heavier topic. The Sham Shine Blind by Paz Pardo. Maybe. I can see a bridge on there. It looks like the Golden Gate Bridge, so it could be very Americano. Rouge by Mona Awad. I have read. It was fine. The Lost Journals of Sacagawea by Deborah Magpie Earling. I know that's going to have to do with Native Americans, and it's probably going to be heavy. Oh, Worry by Alexandra Tanner. I don't know what that's about, but I am obsessed with that cover. That's gorgeous. It's a lady with a bowl of fruit on her head, but I'm just loving the colors and the style. I am going to go for a cover grab for this one. If I had to guess what this is about, I'm going to say some sort of 20-something having an existential crisis, not knowing what to do with their life, or someone with a lot of anxiety. I'm not going to read the synopsis, but I'm going with Worry by Alexandra Tanner based on the cover. Hey, Sylvie. Okay, so, 3.34. Not great, not awful, but not great. All right, skip past, don't want to see what it's about, find out later. Okay, next book, Piglet, Lottie Hazel. Read it, it was okay. Great depictions of food though. Perfume and Pain by Anna Dawn. Anna Dawn's one of those authors that, once again, I don't ever give her books 5 stars, but I do enjoy her writing style. I love it. That cover is one of my favorite covers of all time. Housemates, Emma Copley Eisenberg. Love the cover. I've seen people talking about it. It doesn't interest me. Same with Banal Nightmare by Hallie Butler. I tried her book, The New Me, and I DNF'd it. I just was not into it. Fruit of the Dead, Rachel Lyon. This book gets me because I love the fucking covers. I love the covers. It's Hades and Persephone's, but I've read the blurb. I've seen reviews. I know I'm not going to like it. So I just, bro, that's brand new. Like, can't have nice things when you have cats. That's new, dude. Once again, we've got All Fours. Skipping past that, A Good Happy Girl by Marissa Higgins. Ooh, maybe. Pin. We Were the Universe, Kimberly King Parsons. Read that, liked that. Greta and Valden by Rebecca R. Riley. Beautiful cover. Every review I've read about, I've seen on it, has not interested me whatsoever, so I'm going to skip that one. Liars, Sarah Manguso. Interesting. Do I want to go for a thriller, maybe? Because that's giving thriller vibes. Maybe. Margot's Got Money Troubles by Ruthie Thorpe. Loved it. Come and Get It, Kylie Reid. People have panned the shit out of that one. Long Island Compromise. No, not interested. The Coin by Yasmin Zahir. I love the cover. I love that it's representing Palestinian characters, but I believe she sells fake Birkin bags or something like that, and I'm just not interested in that as a storyline. Anibot, Sierra Greer. I did not like that one. Memory Piece, Lisa Coe. Oh, I don't know, but there's a person riding a bike, and that, for some reason, that puts me off. Evenings and Weekends by Oisin McKenna, and that's probably not how you say that name. Nah, that seems too litfic. And then we've got Beautyland again, which I know I cannot get, so I might, it's between A Good Happy Girl and Liars. But I feel like Good Happy Girl might be like Worry, and I want a bit of variety. So I'm gonna go with Liars by Sarah Manguso. 3.84, that's decent. That's a decent scroll. Don't want to know yet. Okay, next we got Long Island Compromise, no. All Fours, no. Banal Nightmare, no. So it's going through a lot of the same. Catalina by Carla Cornejo. Villa Vicencio, beautiful cover. So I've looked it up before because I saw that cover and I'm like, oh my God, but the storyline doesn't interest me. The Coin again. Colored Television by Danzy Senna. That's interesting. That's a very cool cover. The Hypocrite, Joe Hamya. I would have picked this, but I've just watched someone's review on it and no. The Most by Jessica Anthony. I love the color scheme and the text, but it's a pool and I hate pools. I know that's a weird thing, but I don't really enjoy them. It's The Chlorine. Same As It Ever Was, Claire Lombardo. No, that looks too serious. Sorry, that's my kid texting me. The Anthropologist, Aysegul Sabas. I'm not really into an anthropology kind of thing. Creation Lake, Rachel Kushner. Seen that on the Booker Prize, not interested. Consent, a memoir, no, that sounds heavy. God of the Woods, Liz Moore, read that, it was okay. Bear by Julia Phillips. I wonder if that's like, straight away I'm just thinking the whole, would you choose a bear or a man thing. That probably has got nothing to do with that, but that's what comes to mind. State of Paradise, Laura Vandenberg. That's giving sci-fi to me. Maybe. Sandwich, Catherine Newman, Gnome, Beach Houses, The Wedding People, Alison Espach. I have seen a lot of people give these great reviews, like phenomenal. Oh, Small Rain, Garth Greenwell, that's boring. I'm getting swayed by other people's opinion for this one because I have seen review after review that people are just blown away. It's more than a romance, a litfic romance sort of situation. Like it's mostly really good. Okay, so what have I got so far? I've got like a litfic, might be a bit weird. I've got a thriller. I'm going to go romance. The Wedding People by Alison Espach. 4.21. That's a good rating, dude. That's a good rating. All right, next one. God of the Woods, read it. Husbands and Lovers, Beatrice Williams. I'm not loving the cover. Margot, read it. All the Colors of the Dark, Chris Whitaker. Maybe. Sandwich, read it. House of Glass, Sarah Pekkanen. I saw this at the library in their brand in new section because it's pink and yellow and that always catches my eye. I might get that just because I know I can pick it up immediately. Swan Song, no, I'm not interested in any Ellen Hildebrand kind of books. The rom-commers, Catherine Center, I didn't really love her other stuff. Rainbow Roll, no. Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan, I have got that in my recommendation TBR jar, so I cannot pick that one. Emily Good, no, it's mostly romances. Paradise Problem, got another thriller like Mother Like Daughter. I think I picked that up and DNF'd it a long time ago. 10 Bright Stars, not interested. Lion Women of Tehran, too serious at this point. The Cliffs, oh, The Lost Story, Meg Sheffer, I hated her other book. Hated it. So, a lot of romance on here, or thrillers. Tossing up between All the Colours of the Dark or House of Glass, but All the Colours of the Dark looks like it might be a bit more heavy. Do you know what I mean? Where House of Glass, I remember seeing it and thinking, oh, that'd probably be a quick read. I'm going with another thriller. Okay. House of Glass, pink and yellow. 3.95, pretty decent. I'll choose one more. What have we got? Like Mother Like Daughter, no. A Talent for Murder, no. What have you done? Okay, these look like all thrillers. Look in the Mirror, Middle of the Night, read that one. That was very basic. Winning People, already got that. Return of Ellie Black, maybe. God of the Woods, no. One Big Happy Family, no. Bad Tourist, no. One Perfect Couple, Ruth Wade, no desire. Sleep Tight, maybe. It looks a bit more horror. If Something Happens to Me, no. The Haters, Robin Harding. The Next Mrs. Parrish, no. Sally Hepworth, Darling Girls, read that. It was okay. The Midnight Feast, Lucy Foley. Madwoman, Chelsea Beaker. I've already got this on reserve. It's already on my want to read. So 100% this is like about motherhood. What's the rating for this one? 3.77. So those are the 5 books. I'll put them all up on the screen. I don't know what any of them are really about except for Madwoman because I've already got it on my TBR, and The Wedding People kind of because I heard people talking about it. So exciting. Hopefully one of these is a 5-star. We'll see how Up Next goes in regards to directing me, steering me towards books that are up my alley. But so I'm going to go see what I can borrow online immediately and go to the library, and I know there's some books there, grab them. And I'm going out. I'm meeting up with Kate in the CBD for lunch to have fun, faff about. It's a beautiful day. It is 25 degrees, so good. And I'm going to make the most of it. And I'll touch base with you guys once I've read something because I'll be going by tram. So I'm going to have at least 2 hours of public transportation. I will surely get a decent way through Worry because that's first on the menu. Gorgeous cover.
Je vais vraiment être au taquet sur ça. C'est vraiment pas bien quoi.
Okay, they didn't really make the trip home, but this is a canal and it's jasmine tea, pear and raspberry, and this Madeleine is chili chocolate. Okay, I'm back. I am actually out of breath. I didn't end up meeting up with Kate. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it. And it was probably for the best because I had to cut my day short. I just felt very dizzy and weak and my ears are ringing. And I think it was just from the blood loss. And I probably haven't recovered enough to have gone out today and walked around so much. So I'm probably going to pass out on the couch, but I thought I'd tell you how I went. Bistro d'Orsay was fantastic, really vibey. I couldn't really film much. I'm not a great vlogger, guys. I get freaked out about filming if people can see me filming. So if I'm sitting at a table and there are people around me and I get my camera and they look at me, I can't do it. I can only do sneaky, quick shots, or if people leave and there's no one in my proximity. Maybe one day I'll get more comfortable with it, but yeah, filming out in public is really hard for me. I try my best. Cafe was good. Gnocchi was fantastic. I then went to Dame, which is a favorite place of mine, and I just had an almond friand and a London fog. I've always wanted to try them. It's just a fancy Earl Grey, but I loved it, and they put little rose petals on top. So nice, so romantic. Then I went to the bakery Kudo. It's a gluten-free bakery, and I got an iced black sesame chocolate coffee, which was good, but very, very sweet. The older I get, the less sweetness I can handle for some reason. Everything becomes overly sweet. I also got 2 desserts to try, but I just don't have the stomach for them at the moment because I'm feeling, very queasy and faint. But I did get a chili chocolate madeleine and a jasmine pear raspberry canal. So they were sold out for most of their things. I went at, it was probably 1:30. So I think you just have to go in there early if you want the full range of options to choose from. So I feel like my eyes were like closing. I'm trying to keep them open. So I did end up reading Worry by Alexandra Tanner. And in the blurb, it said that this is a book that follows 2 20-something siblings turned roommates. So I was kind of right when I said, I bet you this is about like 20-something-year-olds trying to figure out their life, not knowing what they want to do. And it says it's a Seinfeldian novel of existentialism and sisterhood. Did I say existential crisis? I'm pretty sure I did. So I called it based on the cover, and it's in 2019. The first line of this book is, "My sister Poppy arrives on a wet Thursday, dressed ugly and covered in hives." This is about 2 sisters. They fight over whether to buy a SodaStream because it could support Israel. They fight over whether to vote for Bernie or Warren. And they fight a lot.
I didn't touch a damn drum set!
And they bond a lot.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup!
Just like siblings do. So it is very much focused on the 2 of them and their bickering relationship. The main character also loves to follow anti-vax conspiracy theorist mums. So there's a lot of just text threads of whatever this group of women are talking about. And I ended up at a 3-star because most of it was fine. It just felt very slice of life for these 2 sisters who grew up in New York. They're Jewish and they're not liking their jobs. They're not liking themselves. They're not liking each other. But then at the end, the book finishes on a very violent animal fight scene. So there is an animal attack between 2 animals, and my dog was in a dog fight and it was very traumatic. He lived, the other dog lived, but it was just an awful, awful situation. And that book did just bring me right back to that. So I wasn't triggered, but it was really awful way to end a book. I just felt really sick. And I thought, this is a strange way to end this. So this book really doesn't go anywhere. It's more the vibes. There's no real plot at all. So yeah, I ended up with a 3. I felt like it could have been better if it had maybe some kind of plot, or if it had finished in a different way, not on such a violent, unnecessary altercation. So like, if you're triggered at all by animal stuff, don't read this book, especially anything to do with dogs. There's other stuff in here mentioned to do with dogs and dog abuse, and that's heavy in the book. And I don't love that. So it did bring the book down to a 3 for me. I was contemplating giving it a 2.5, but I did like the writing style, and there were some bits of comedy in there. But not off to a great start. I still think the cover is fucking fantastic. I love it. But the book itself, So the next book I'm picking up is The Liars by Sarah Manguso. So I haven't read the blurb of what this is about yet. I assumed it was a thriller, and it is a thriller. So it's all right about that. It says it's a searing novel about being a wife, a mother, and an artist, and how marriage makes liars out of us all. It does say, so I find books about wives and mothers having, once again, some kind of life crisis and feeling stifled and feeling like they're drowning can go either way. I either can love them or I really dislike them. So it depends, is this going to be an all fours situation, or is it going to be a my husband situation? That remains to be seen, but it says it's a tour de force of wit and rage, telling the blistering story of a marriage as it burns to the ground, and of a woman rising inexorably, I don't think I've ever said that word out loud, inexorably, from its ashes. So we'll have to wait and see. It's a short one, so I might even get it done today. You might see me again sans makeup because this is coming right off. I don't know about anybody else, but once I come back home, it's bras off, tracksuit pants on, makeup off, bludge on the couch time. Okay, so I just finished Liars by Sarah Manguso. The first line is, "In the beginning, I was only myself." Oh my God. So this almost reads like a woman's diary entries of all of her years in a relationship. So when she meets her mediocre boyfriend and is in a very mid relationship, to when she marries him and he's a shitty husband and she's in a shitty marriage, to when they have a beautiful child and she becomes a mother, and all of the pain and joy that comes along with that, and all of the excess burden and responsibilities she's amassed, but her husband hasn't. She's doing the most. He's not even doing the bare minimum, to the culmination of COVID, when his affair is exposed and he leaves her and their child through her divorce, and then the finalization of it. Okay, so when I got divorced, I threw away all of my diaries from the 16 years I had spent with my ex-husband, because I did not want to be reminded of that relationship that was slowly killing me. So reading her going through the loss of her pet and cervical cancer and all these things that I experienced as well, it was hard. It just brought me back to that misery, and I could feel myself suffocating reading this. But then I had to remind myself, you're not married anymore. You're not with that person anymore. You're free. It's okay. That's not your reality. This is just a fictional character. But that's how it felt. I did feel like it's realistic, but man, yeah, I don't know if I would have read it had I known it would have been like this. Like, I definitely would have DNF'd it. I would have just been like, I don't want to read about this lived experience that I've had. Obviously her husband wasn't as bad, still an absolute turd bucket, but there were still common things in there, because you're always going to find common things in regards to unhealthy, unsatisfying relationships, and them depicted in fictional stories. But yeah, oh my God, I'm giving it 3 stars because it was well done. It felt real, but my God, it was not enjoyable to read. You know, so I'm glad she's out. She's just started on her path back to joy and to herself and to freedom and to life and to possibilities. It's like, babes, you've gone through the shit. You're about to find the oasis. You're going to be okay. Like, it's going to get better. Everything's just going to get better now. But yeah, oh my God, it's just, yeah, 3 stars. I will put the picture of the book that I'm reading next. I have a feeling it was House of Glass. Was that next on the lineup? The thriller? Oh no, maybe it's Wedding People. Whichever one it is, this is what's up next. Hopefully this is more enjoyable and not so claustrophobic and depressing. And I will probably see you the next time. I'll see you once I have finished the next book. So far we have not found a 5-star, we found 2 3s. So not bad, at least nothing lower than a 3, but these were also like just on the 3 mark, you know? So yeah, hopefully, I don't feel like any of these are like Open Throat either. I will mention that too. These were based on people liking open throat, and I'm like, I'm not seeing the similarities beside the litfic genre portion. So yeah, we'll see what happens next. I don't think any of the books that the readers also enjoyed were probably like open throat, unless you saw one on there, and let me know if it is, but I don't think any of them had that kind of very weird, magical, different narrator style of book. So we'll see. We'll see how this experiment turns out.
Honestly, I don't know how to feel. Do I hate her or do I want her phone number?
Same.
Right? Yeah. Oh, hello. Hey. Hello.
What a scary bitch.
Good morning, guys. So I have read The Wedding People by Alison S. Puck. The first line is, "The hotel looks exactly as Phoebe hoped." This was quite a surprise. So it starts off with two women. There is a hotel that has been fully booked out for a wedding except for one room. So you have the bride of this wedding and the one woman who is not part of the wedding party and has come to this hotel for a very specific reason, which I cannot tell you because it is a twist and it's not said in the blurb. But when this twist occurs, I'm like, oh, damn. Basically, you have the bride, Lila, who I personally couldn't stand. She just does not respect people's boundaries and is quite self-centered. And then you have Phoebe, the kink in Lila's wedding chain. So Phoebe is going through it. She's getting divorced. She's depressed. A lot of shit has happened. And when I first started this, I thought, oh my God, not another espresso depresso book about a woman who is going through a breakup because their shitty husband cheated on them with another woman. And it was the same thing. It was during the COVID pandemic. So in Liars, I forgot to mention the cheating occurred during COVID. And in this, it's the same. Husband cheated during COVID, left wife for mistress. Like, okay. Is it going to be a similar situation as it was to Liars? But no, it was not. So whilst the beginning was upsetting and heavy, there was also hope and happiness in here. So yes, it begins with two very unhappy women and it ends in a very satisfactory manner, but not a typical happily ever after kind of book. So it's not that kind of book. It is, I guess, this is women's fiction, litfic, chick lit, whatever you want to call that genre. And I actually enjoyed it. I gave this a 4.5 stars. It was just really well done. It focuses on this 1 week with all of these people staying at this hotel for this wedding between the bride and groom, and Phoebe getting to know all of them and forming connections with people when she had previously been so disconnected, as her only tether had been to her husband and that was severed. So she was just lost. I think Phoebe's a great, relatable, realistic character who has gone through an incredibly stressful event and is just trying to find stability and her feet. And it was just very sweet. It's obviously got small town vibes too, because this grandiose old school hotel set in this small town. But it's a heartwarming story. Getting to know all these flawed people and how they're connected and what it is that they're desiring in their life. So very pleased. It was not another sad litfic book full of female disappointment, anger, and depression. It did turn itself around somewhat. So, but this one was one that was already on my TBR. I'd already come across it. So it wasn't, a new book that the Up Next showed me to, but it did bump it up my TBR. And I'm glad, because I probably would have not prioritized this at all. And I ended up having a fabulous time. I'm not sure what's going on with me at the moment though. My reading has slowed down dramatically. Maybe I've got a lot of brain fog, but because my kids aren't here, I'm not having to use my brain. So I'm not quite sure, but I am struggling to get through books. I am putting them down frequently and just not feeling motivated to read. I don't normally get into book slumps, but yeah, maybe I just don't have the mental energy at the moment, or I could be just getting a bit burnt out because I have been pouring so much of my free time into just reading. But that will balance itself out. Once the weather warms up, I will end up going out more and therefore have less time for reading. So it could just be any combination of those factors. I have finished 3, so we've had a 3-star, 3-star, and now a 4.5 star. So it's already a success in my eyes because I loved The Wedding People. I am now going to be reading House of Glass by Sarah Pekkanen, and this is a thriller. So Lies says it was a thriller, and that's what the cover gives off. It's not. It is just a look about a dysfunctional relationship. So I will say I don't agree with the thriller aspect for genre for Liars, but House of Glass definitely does look like a standard thriller, and the plot makes it sound like a standard thriller. So basically you've got a family in which a young nanny plunged to her death. So the family and people who work there are under investigation. A lawyer is sent in because there is a 9-year-old girl who's refusing to speak. So they're hoping that this lawyer who serves as counsel for children in custody cases can break through to the daughter and find out what happened. I don't think that there is a paranormal aspect in this. I think it's a standard thriller where everyone's a suspect and you've got to weed them out until you find the right one. I can get a decent chunk of it done today. I am going out for brunch with my best friend Kim. So I have 2 best friends, Kate and Kim, whom we've all known each other since we were 11 years old. So it's been almost 30 years of wonderful, wonderful friendship. She's just returned from a trip abroad. So I'm going to be catching up with her, finding out what she's been up to. She's a hard lady to get a hold of. She's very, very busy. She works for Disney and that takes up a lot of her time, but she loves her job. And then I've got my kids coming back. So my 3 days of me time is over. It was really lovely. As an introvert, I can only fully recharge when there are no other human beings around me that I need to take care of. And so, yeah, it's something that I would like more of, but my kids are with me for almost all of the time, except for these little moments during school holidays. So I tried to make the most of it, but obviously a lot of that was spent recovering from my medical injury, but I'm feeling fine now. It's healing well. The bruising and pain has subsided, so I didn't get any complications from that, so that's fantastic. Can move on. I was meant to be hosting a sleepover for a couple of Valentine's friends this evening, but she's decided that she would rather have a shopping day because that is her numero uno hobby. So I'm going to be taking a bunch of girls out to the mall. I think I might just have to join the husband club and sit on the couches with all the other men who are just obviously waiting for their wives to finish shopping, because I don't think I have it in me to do 3 hours of walking around. I am still quite drawn. I'm still exhausted from yesterday's CBD trip. I think it was a bit too much too soon. But it's okay because I have tomorrow, Sunday, to recuperate and recover before we're back to school. Back to school.
Oh, back to school. Back to school.
After this reading vlog though, I am going to go back to my spooky vlog. I do want to get that done. I think I can handle the horror now. But I'll touch base with you guys. I think I might just do an update today since I've prettied myself up to let you know how I'm going with House of Glass. And then I'll probably just see you when I'm wrapping up the last 2 books together. I also managed to start House of Glass. So the reason it's called that is because the nanny fell out a window, and then after that, the family has replaced all the glass, including the windows. There is no glass in the house. They're saying that it's because the mother has now developed a phobia, but the lawyer is calling BS because she saw the child bend down and pocket a piece of broken glass from the ground when her mother wasn't looking while they were on the street. So it's giving, did the child kill the nanny? Is the child psychotic because the parents are acting very peculiar, but we're still in the early stages of trying to figure out who is the culprit. It's very quick and easy to read, so I think it's one of those thrillers where the enjoyment is going to be based on the twists and the turns, because there's nothing really compelling so far about any of the characters or the writing. Okay, so I have finished the last 2 books. Apologies, I am very, very depleted and low on energy, but I will rally for this. So I did finish reading House of Glass by Sarah Pekkanen. The first sentence is Tuesdays at 4:30 p.m. So this is a thriller. Hey Blue. And in this book, you have the main character, and she's an attorney, and she represents children who are sort of at risk in divorce. And we've had this event occur where the nanny has fallen from her death from a window, and the suspects are the mother, father, grandmother, and 9-year-old daughter, who has now taken to making shivs, which is why the family has banned all glass from the house, including the windows have now been replaced with plastic or plexiglass, whatever it is. And so naturally, this is more of a murder mystery whodunit than a thriller. I would say you're just going around all of the suspects and, determining which one is more likely to be the culprit. The book is also focusing on the lawyer's own history, where she witnessed something traumatic and how it affected her. And she's also trying to uncover a mystery element that's associated with that. And I must say, I cared less about that and more about the current case. I've ended up giving this a 3 stars. It's a fairly mediocre mystery whodunit. And the issue I had was once the murderer was revealed, I did find that it wasn't incredibly plausible. I was like, I don't think that character could have done these certain things that they supposedly would have done if they were the killer. I'm like, I don't see it happening. I don't see them doing that. So I found it a bit of a letdown, but it was fine. It's easy to read. It's fast paced, but it's a 3-star read for me. The next book I picked up was Madwoman by Chelsea Beaker. The opening sentence is, "The world is not made for mothers." Now, this one is very hard for me to, I guess, talk about. I've given it a 3.5 stars, but I think that if you don't have trauma like the one depicted in the book, you would probably give it a much higher rating. Like, I can see objectively how it would be a really good book, but for me, it probably hit a bit too close to home. I guess I especially resonated with what had occurred with the mother and how it had shaped what kind of mother she decided to then become. And I wouldn't say it's triggering for me because I made a lot of peace with my life and healing and moved on, but it did just feel like I was once again brought back to sort of that state and that mind frame and going through it all over again. So it felt very claustrophobic and suffocating for me and just made me very uncomfortable. And it's like, oh, I don't want to rehash this stuff and be here again. And it was just because it was on the heels of these other books that were also going through like shitty marriages and cheating partners and all of that kind of thing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This book in particular focuses on this woman named Clove. She has reinvented herself and her life because of something traumatic that happened to her in her childhood. And it's focusing on her current life with her safe husband and her 2 children and the wonderful mother that she has become. But then the past comes knocking back on her door and it slowly unravels her and her life. So this does take a twist into the very weird and dramatic and full on. Okay, so I'm not saying I relate to all parts of this book. There are just certain things that were very similar. I thought, like I said, it's well done. This is definitely more of a thriller than the thriller book I just read. Even though I think this one was, I can't remember I'm just going to actually look up what genre it is because I felt like this was more touted as a women's fiction, but I don't know. Let me just double check what they actually said that Madwoman is. So let's look it up. Madwoman is, oh no, mystery thriller, women's fiction. Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, this is, definitely more of a thriller than the other one, which is more of a murder mystery. But yeah, it was just full on. And I think that's why I've given it 3.5 stars. But it would be one I would recommend if you want to read a thriller, domestic violence, motherhood, assault, trigger warning from Munchausen's by proxy, I think it's what it's called. There's a lot of stuff in here. So I will say, with these books, first of all, which one had the worst opening line? That would be The House of Glass, which was Tuesdays at 4:30 p.m. That was the least interesting. My favorite opening sentence, look, I would have probably give it to The World is Not Made for Mothers by Madwoman in and of itself, but one that it really sums up the book well would be In Liars by Sarah Manguso. It was, "In the beginning, I was only myself." And it might seem a bit obtuse and abstract, but then you understand once you've read the book, when it's in context. Are any of these books like Open Throat? No, not at all. Not even close. Look, I understand Open Throat is a very niche book. It's about the mountain lion in the LA hills. And it's, I guess, though, a commentary on human beings and the human condition. But none of these were similar in terms of the writing style or the concept of Open Throat. Okay, so I did not get magical realism, I think, from any of these books, which was what I was hoping for. I would say besides Worry, Liars, The Wedding People, House of Glass, and Madwoman, they all had obviously big themes of marriage and motherhood, and in some of those, child abuse. So they were definitely heavier books. I wasn't probably in the best mind frame from those, considering the week that I've had. So I might have enjoyed them more if I'd read them at a sort of happier, more calm, easygoing time in my life. And like I said, it's because I was going in there with the expectation perhaps that there would be a book similar to Open Throat. I did not get that. I got something different and absolutely entirely different. I still think it was successful. It still led me to pick up The Wedding People earlier. And none of these books were below a 3 stars. But yes, they just were a lot heavier than I was anticipating. And there are heavy themes in Open Throat, but not like this. Not like this. I think because, like I said, it has the magical aspect. I think I will still try this again with maybe a book that's not so unique. So like I said, I think it must be really difficult to try and recommend a book that is like Open Throat. If you know of one, do let me know. But yes, I was hoping for a bit more whimsical, but still deep, still emotional, but also heartwarming magical realism book. But I got a lot of sad, depressed, angry, hurt women, basically. But I will recap the books that I read. My favorite cover was definitely Worry by Alexandra Tanner. I think it is stunning. That book I gave a 3 stars. Then we have House of Glass by Sarah Pekkanen, which I also gave 3 stars. Liars by Sarah Manguso, which I gave 3 stars. Madwoman by Chelsea Beaker, which I gave 3.5 stars. And The Wedding People by Alison Espach, which is my favorite read, at 4.5 stars, and probably the one I would recommend the most, and is probably the least triggering, I guess, unless you've just recently gotten divorced. Oh, that being said, there is a big trigger warning in there. I've just remembered, but I can't tell you what for because it was spoilable. But yeah, actually, no, look, all of these books are triggering in some way, okay? They're not what I would deem like safe and benign books. And I think that's what I need to read right now. I was meant to go back to my spooky vlog of horror books. I'm too fragile. I'm too mentally and emotionally and physically fragile. So I will mood read a bit. I think I definitely need to find something just really dumb and fun and just like palate cleanse that way. Nothing that's emotionally fraught in any way. But yes, I'm going to try this again, like I said, with a different genre of book, not so niche, and see how we go. But otherwise, it was a successful experiment. Like I said, nothing lower than a 3 stars. And I just think it was my frame of mind probably wasn't the best for these types of books. But now I'm rambling. I'm just going on and on. So until next time, stay wild, Star Child.